Well, that was a really bright display from Arsenal and from some key players too. When you go into these pre-season games, playing Girona, you win 4-1, you want to see plenty of goals, you want it to look comfortable. It was all of that. But also looking at key players. Do certain first teams look fit after a grueling season and a World Cup campaign too? Does the new signing look bright? Do the youngsters look up for it? Do the players that are maybe playing for a place at the club actually show that they really want it? And I think it's ticks across the board for all of those categories. And we're going to go through it with a little breakdown. Now, Arsenal went with a strong 11. Kai Havertz, Gyökeres and Cappier, who all had a pretty decent World Cup, all got a start, but within half an hour were taken off. Thought that was good by Mikel Arteta. The rest, Tzolis, Dowman, Waneri, Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, all getting minutes as well, which was good to see. Now, for the first 15 minutes, not a lot happened. Girona were actually keeping the ball quite nicely. The first real chance comes from a Tzolis free kick. He whips it to the back post. It's headed back across and Calafiori's header goes straight at the keeper. But then the goal comes and Lewis Skelly, who I thought had a really good game in midfield, as the six had to drift to the right side as well. So not playing in probably the most comfortable area for him. I don't know if he did that as an academy player, but certainly when we've seen him as a first team, he's been a left back inverting into left central midfield or along right. He's occupied the left side of the pitch. It was good to see him actually just looking really comfortable wherever he had to pop up in midfield. And on 2 occasions, he found Max Dowman in the half space. Now, the first goal comes from that particular action. He's got the ball. He finds Dowman, who wasn't playing out on the right touchline like we're used to seeing so often from our wingers. He was given a lot of license to drift inside, and we saw that with 2 of the goals. One of them he scores himself. Under pressure, he rides the tackle. And by the way, I thought Dan was having an iffy game at this point. A few times tackled, a few times losing the ball a little bit cheaply, but was also making things happen, was clearly very, very dangerous. But he's a brave player. He always wants the ball to feet. He always wants to make things happen. He rides the challenge, and then he picks out a lovely pass to Kai Havertz, who for a lot of the 30 minutes he was on the pitch, was making runs and was actually just, his movement was hurting teams. I know we make a lot of jokes around, he attacks space well, but he genuinely does. He genuinely does know how to use his intelligence and understanding of the game to create space for others or attack space himself. And when that ball's played in by Max Dowman, he's cut through the midfield from the left A and he's tucked it away into the far corner. Really good goal from Kai Havertz, who continues a run of form that stretches from the end of last season with Burnley in the Champions League final. I think he might have even scored against Palace. I can't remember. Maybe he didn't. Or maybe it was disallowed. I can't remember. But then he obviously has a decent World Cup, and now he scored on pre-season. It's good to see. Havertz making another run. This time it's cut back to Gyökeres, but it's saved. The goalkeeper gets there ahead. That was another nice little move from Arsenal. Tzolis made a run in behind, was trying to find Gyökeres as well. Nice little 1-2. And this was something I wanted to say about Tzolis, because we've got a little piece of content coming out later on the channel that explains it in a bit more detail. But I thought what Tzolis did quite well, there was a lot of combos on the edge of the penalty area, a lot of looking for 1-2s, but he was often able to find a little cutback, a little layoff for players running onto the ball, could maybe get shots at goal. This was something he did a lot at Club Brugge, and we analysed that on the Goonerverse when we were doing a breakdown on the player. But a few times he started to grow in confidence. He actually showed a really good burst at times, taking on the fullback, but what he was good at doing was picking out a pass on the inside, making a run back sort of a bit more central in behind the defence, and a few times he tried to pick out a player. It didn't quite happen for him, but he did look bright. Eventually he gets his goal when he tucks inside, just takes a shot on himself, slight deflection, but it's 2-0 Arsenal at that point. Within half an hour, Salmon, Vieira and Jesus have come on for Nkapé, Havertz and Gyökeres, and yeah, I mean, that was probably the right thing to do. Give them a start, make Arsenal have a good, strong starting 11 for the first 30 so Arteta can learn what we need to learn, but then take them off, because they have literally just come back from the World Cup, and this is good management in terms of the minutes from the manager. Now, the second half was a bit of a nothing affair. There were 3 goals, but the competitive edge sort of went. I think the first half, Girona had quite a bit of the ball, and then in the second half, again, they did, but Arsenal were sort of ahead for almost all of it. Well, no, they were ahead for all of it, but were comfortable for almost all of it, because even when they did equalise through Arnau Martinez, which came from a set piece, Nicolas Yeovil won't be happy about that, Arsenal responded quite quickly. It's Max Dowman in the half space again. This time the defender's on the floor, thinks he got caught. I actually barely saw the incident. But when it gets to Dowman, he then drives on the inside, gets a good shot at goal. Now, the reason I'm so happy with this goal is not because it's just 16-year-old Max Dowman looking great. We know he looks great. We know he's a brilliant talent. But I've always said, I think the one thing, and he showed a lot last season. He showed pace, he showed trickery, he showed intelligence, he showed strength, he showed maturity, he showed all those things. I think the one thing we didn't necessarily see from him last season, and he's very young, He's very, very young, I know. But I don't think he showed off ball striking. In fact, and I'm not trying to be harsh because, again, he's so young, but I think, if anything, a few times he did work himself a good space, whether it be in the Leeds game at home last season, whether it be in pre-season or in the cup games, a few opportunities where it happened for him. And actually, his ball striking was okay. It wasn't great. And it's so good to see him strike the ball with conviction, find the near post. It's not an easy goal to take, but from the touch turn, which he does really well for the first goal for Havertz, but then to set himself and get that strike at goal, take it really well, was really good to see. So well done for Max Dowman for that. Delighted he's got a goal. What's that? Is probably his second ever Arsenal goal. I know obviously the one against Everton actually counts, this in as a pre-season friendly goal, but still, well done to him. It was good to see. And then Jesus gets another one straight after because of a bit of a lucky deflection, and he just takes it quite well after that. Kepa makes a decent save. Meslier makes a really, really good save at 4-1. And then later in the game, there's a bit of an error where he took too long to take a goal kick. He was punished for time wasting, went out for a corner. The youngsters came on. Reece Nelson came on. And that's pretty much it. Arsenal win 4-1. It was quite comfortable from that point. But yeah, it was a good save from Meslier, to be fair. And I imagine he's going to push Kepa as the number 2. But if Kepa goes, we'll see how we address that position. A couple more things that stood out to me in this game. Riccardo Calafiori can do whatever he wants. I honestly think he's given license by Mikel Arteta to simply go crazy. Just whatever you want. It's so insane to talk about a young Italian centre-back who's converted to left-back being given the keys to the team. It's like, we will move around you. You go and gallop into the wilderness. Do whatever you want, Riccardo, and just let your hair down and enjoy. And whatever you do, we will react to it. It honestly feels sometimes that that's what we're telling him to do. Just go express yourself, and we'll pick up the pieces, because he pops up in so many random areas up front, right half space, left half space, in build up, in the last line. He just goes out wide. Sometimes he does whatever he wants and the team move around him. And we knew that when he had that good relationship with Trossard, it was a really good low block killer. It was a key that was able to open spaces for Arsenal we otherwise couldn't find without him. We even saw him come on in the Carabao Cup final and make a real difference to Arsenal. So we know he's a key player. But it just feels like every time we see him, he's given more and more and more license by Mikel. I mean, remember that goal against PSV? All right, we were 6-1 up, but he's up front and he makes it. He takes it with his right foot after an Odegaard through ball in the Champions League round of 16. I mean, it's stuff like that that I just find perplexing, but in a good way. It's great to watch, and let's hope we can see the better Calafiori if he can stay injury-free. Nwaneri, wanted to talk about him. Lewis Skelly looked good too, don't get me wrong, but I thought Nwaneri looked strong. That was what stood out to me about his performance in this game. I thought there was a real kind of, when I say strong, we know he's no pushover, but he's always been one who's used, in my opinion, I might be wrong about this, who's used his quality on the ball to evade contact, to dart into tight spaces. I saw him actually, I felt, using his body to ride challenges. I think the second goal, Tzolis' goal, comes from Nwaneri riding a challenge well and then spraying the ball, across the pitch to whoever picked it up. Tzolis, Calafiori, I can't remember who. I thought it was good from Nwaneri, how many times he was riding challenges, using his strength. Even if he lost the ball, worked really hard to win it back. He looked really physical and combative in that midfield. It was good to see, because I don't think Arteta will in any way, shape or form be denying the talent he is. That there's no question. Mikel Arteta recognised how talented he is. That's why at the age of 17, he was giving him minutes and key minutes in the Premier League and Champions League and in big games too. Coming on against Man City, for example, when we won 5-1, getting the 5th goal. But it was all about the defensive work and be able to hold your own physically, or at least that's the only thing I can think it is. Something tactical or something physical was missing that Arteta was needing. And it looks like we might be starting to see a bit more of that from Nwaneri. Now, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but that's my interpretation of the situation. But I thought he looked very mature, very strong, and it looked like he was really holding it down in midfield with Lewis Skelly, which was good to see, while Kai Havertz was running beyond, being more the creative threat, more of the goal threat. Calafiori was going wherever he wanted, and I thought Nwaneri held his own really well in the midfield. All right, those are my thoughts from the pre-season game. If there are any updates on the transfer front, because the Bruno Guimaraes stuff, it just feels like we're on the brink, despite Newcastle reporters still denying that there's any club to club. It's extraordinary. If there's any updates, we will go live and we will let you know. Hope you've enjoyed this match reaction. If you have, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for all the latest Arsenal news, analysis, reaction reports, everything. We've got you covered, and we'll see you very, very soon.